Peace, brothers and sisters in humanity. I hope you're well. Today we came to talk about wife beating in the Quran. And the only reason I'm showing people, because obviously I need to know the other translation, what some people are spreading. Do you understand? Without knowledge and without authority either. So I'm showing you people that most people think they're smart. Most people think I like that word, academic. they're not, they're not, uh, they're not street like me, if you know what I mean. So they're not common like me. So those people are the smartest because they went to university. Yeah. Well, yesterday about the how he got it so wrong, the verse so wrong. I mean, the video before this one about slaves, yeah, he got it so wrong. Although he's smart, he is smart when you listen to him. He's actually preaching and been preaching for years, but he got it so wrong, unbelievable. Why? Because they don't know what the Quran is. Do you know what I mean? And today we're going to go through a few videos, if you don't mind, if you have time to watch, and then we come and talk about that word, what it means. I don't want to put things into your head. That's why I'll tell you I'll tell you what it means at the end. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be, you know what I mean? I don't want to be putting ideas into your heads, yeah? But in the meantime, when I say a verse, I try and explain something, right? Not explain. I just point you to some things in there, in a verse you probably don't see. You understand that? So let's start with the first video. This sister, listen, these people really believe that's the truth. They're not trying to be devils or trying to be bad or trying to be like, they're not. They are not. That's what they've been taught as the truth. And that's why they defend it that way. But they mix it with emotions. And emotions send you the wrong way. Every time. Do you know what I mean? Your emotions, do not get them involved in everything. You have to control your emotions. You know what I mean? Because if you're still searching for the truth, let's say I talked about a verse and I got it wrong. Yeah? I'm a human. I always tell you not to follow me. You know that. If I get it wrong and I'm really going like defending myself, like that's like what's his name, brother, what's his name, the raw cross salad, the one I done videos about him. He wants to put like physical prayer in there. Although look, he's wrong. He's got nothing to back it up with, but he's defending the idea. Why? Because he thinks he's got the whole truth. I don't claim that. I'm still open. Do you understand that? I'm still open because I'm still looking for things. Anyway, let's start with the first sister. See how she explains it. Obviously, look, she's American. All right? I'm just trying to guide you to some things you probably don't realize how massive they are. Some people don't realize. Obviously, not all. Let's listen to the sister.
Less charity.
Come on, adverts, come on.
Let's take the little issue of wife beating. Okay? We have that ayah of the Quran that some people actually think gives men permission to strike their wives. Right? It does not give you permission to strike your wife even lightly. What that ayah does is it limits what you can do. Before this ayah came down, a man could beat his wife to death, no problem. No problem at all. So this ayah came as a limitation to the man. And how it is that Muslims have accepted the idea that this ayah was actually permission to do something would really make me question, because then you have to look at the sunnah, and as the sister said, according to the sunnah, under what conditions did the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, strike his wives, belittle his wives, abuse his wives in any way? He never did.
Okay, first one. she's trying to put makeup on it. People they used to beat their wives before the Quran, and the Quran came to. It just doesn't make no sense what she said, right? Unless you're emotional, yeah. So you probably think that's the truth, but that didn't make sense to me. Did it to you? Obviously, she thinks that's beating your wife. That's like literally, physically beating the crap at your wife, right? If she doesn't obey you. So this verse, they're all saying it's about females. This verse talks about females, right? Okay, now the worst part is this, and I was listening to the radio and I heard him saying it. I forgot what his name is, but he read that verse in LBC, right? And I was listening to LBC and I tried to contact him, but I couldn't get through because that really pissed me off. Talking about wife beating, he used to be an ex-Muslim. Now he's back or something. You know what I mean? Keep going left or right. He said, "Look, let's watch it. Let's watch it."
For those women whose disobedience you fear, first admonish them, then part ways with them, and if that doesn't work, beat them.
Alright, so what do we got here? We got a toothbrush, expo pen, glue stick, and whoa, I definitely need those. Now you see, you might wonder why these are good options for a Muslim man to use to admonish his wife. It's because the Prophet, peace be upon him, himself said in Sunan Ibn Majah 1851 that this should be done without causing injury or leaving a mark.
Those women whose disobedience you fear, first admonish them, then part ways with them, and if that doesn't work, beat them.
Alright.
Okay, so in national radio, I forgot his name. He was kicked out from LBC after that anyway. After a while, not because of that. And he said that verse should be taken off the Quran. That's what he said. Doesn't suit our time to beat your wife. So that verse, we should not use it. So he wanted to obligate. On national radio, he wanted to obligate a verse from the Quran, all right? Because he thinks it's about beating your wife. And look, you find a lot of videos. Oh, he's back, he's here again, beating your wife, and now it's all about. They literally took that word as beating your wife.
In the Bible,
let's listen to this now.
In the
him.
Bible, and that surprises me when sometimes, again, I would never say.
All right, he's intellectual, he's academic, he went to Oxford, he speaks really well, but let's just see how he will explain it.
In a way to belittle
Yeah, of
anybody's
course not,
religion,
of course not.
but when somebody throws these stones out of a glass
Absolutely.
house, right?
We say that this doesn't show that the religion is false,
Yeah.
by the way. I mean, it's not an argument against the religion, because all we're doing is, from a philosophical perspective, we're using our socially constructed 21st century Western norms, and we're pitting them against the biblical, the Quranic, or whatever narrative. And what that is, it actually constitutes a fallacy called the fallacy of presentism.
Mm-hmm.
The fallacy of presentism,
The fallacy of presentism. Have you ever heard of that?
present ideas of the 21st century narrative, to try and actually disprove other things which are moral based. Well, that's actually anachronistic. In other words, you're using a present idea to superimpose it on let's say a previous society or whatever it is. Well, that doesn't show that your idea is true and their idea is false. It just shows that you have a value judgment, a subjective aesthetic value judgment, which happens to differ from that which existed beforehand. But at any rate, I mean, a lot of these things are misconceptions. Like you're mentioning the verse in the Quran about beating and these things. Mm-hmm. And just to kind of quickly summarize this verse, it's really interesting because this verse starts off by saying, it's chapter 4 verse 34, it says, وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ نُشُوزُهُنَّ فَعِذُوهُنَّ وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَاضْرِبُوهُنَّ. So وَإِنْ أَطَعْنَكُمْ فَلَا تَبَغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you fear their nushuz, i.e. your wives, nushuz is rebellion, and it can take different forms. Now, the first thing I would say to someone who's asking this question is as follows, really. I mean, I would say to someone, let's say for example, who is, I'm not going to say a feminist, or someone who believes in women's rights, anyone, right? Say to them, do you believe that in all cases, a husband can never touch a woman against her will. In all cases, absolutely all cases. She might say, yeah, I don't believe in any case it's justified for a woman to touch her husband against his will. A husband to touch her wife against her will in any physical way. So I say, okay, fine. What if she's killing the child or endangering the child's health in a dramatic way? And by the way, this is not an anomalous example, because if you find the NSPCC, which is a British charity which deals with children's health and things like that, they actually reported that the majority of fatalities or deaths of children are from women, not because the women are worse than men or more evil than men, or as the Bible indicates in Genesis, but it's actually because women have more interaction time with their children. Generally speaking, as mothers have more interaction time with their children. So this is actually a real case study. If we see a mother, because we're here looking at the philosophical or
I let him talk, yeah? So I don't misquote people, take a couple of words where he spoke, yeah? So he still thinks that word means beat at the end of it. He said too many words, so I had trying to put makeup on it, old, like the Quran is old, doesn't work this, it doesn't work today, you know what I mean? Anyway, he went through a lot of things, but he didn't say anything. He didn't actually explain what that verse means. Okay, let's prove to you the Quran explains itself. Okay, and you don't have to come out of it to understand the verse. You really don't. You just need time. That's all. Let's read the whole verse, yeah, so we know exactly what he's talking about. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن فإن أطعنكم فلا تبغوا عليهن سبيلا إن الله كان عليا كبيرا. The men are made responsible for the women, and God has endowed them with certain qualities and made them the bread earners. Okay, now this verse is not talking about females and males. It's describing these people. What's women, what's male in the Quran, okay? And God is literally telling you the difference between them, right? Not between female and male, it's between women and men. So he's saying, what separates a man from a woman is qualities and money. That's all. So a female can have qualities and she can have money. You understand that? A man can be poor and has no qualities, or he doesn't have a free will. Literally, you can say however you want, yeah? But he will be a woman. A man who doesn't have absolutely nothing and relies on other people, he's a woman. In the Quran, this is the Quran, right? He's not a man. He's not a male. So both here, it's not talking about women or men, females or because literally these people think only man can divorce. That's what it is. But it's not. The Quran doesn't speak that way. The Quran is very clear. It's even giving you the difference between the two of them. Right? Obviously, when he talks about males as women, he will basically talk to them as females. Right? In a linguistic way. Okay, let's carry on. And made them the bread earners. The righteous women will cheerfully accept this arrangement, since it's God's commandment. It's just, the translation is just weird. I'm still using the same translation, but it's weird. Doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything, right? Until you come to just translation of that word, beat. and honor their husbands during their absence. If you experience rebellions from the women, you shall first talk to them. Then you may, yes, they added something here, desert them in bed. Then you may, as a last, they said here, they actually explained it. The last alternative, beat them. All right? Beat them as beating someone up, yeah? If they obey you, you are not permitted to transgress against them. God is most high, supreme. So as this lot don't realize God is not talking about males or females. So in the Quran in the Quran, if we say that word is beat, that means that gives the right to a woman to be her husband as well. You understand that? So not just man can beat males, beat females. Females have the right to beat their males as well. Obviously in a relationship of marriage, right? Because it gets confusing, women, man in the Quran and what we call a woman and a man in real life, yeah? Probably if you think about it, it means the same thing. Then it comes to وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا فَابْعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا إِنْ يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقُ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا خَبِيرًا. If a couple fears separation, you shall appoint an arbitrator from his family and an arbitrator from her family. If this is decide to reconcile, God will help them get together. God is omniscient, cognizant. All right, I'm not gonna fiddle with that, yeah. All right, I'm gonna come back to this verse. All right, when I know what that word means, so I'll bring it back to this verse. Then I know what it is. But first of all, I have to find out a couple of things. All right, I have to find out a couple of things. I'm going to start with one verse, right? Because I have to have that verse in my mind before I can actually start reading the other verses. Okay, let's go to a room. I have to search, guys, so you have to bear with me. Room. Come on. My memory is really bad. I can't remember the chapters, the numbers. So I'll have to be slow. Okay, go to 30:21. Or shall I leave this last? Okay, I'll leave this last, all right? I'll leave this last. I'll leave before last. All right, sorry, it's going to be quite long. Okay, we go to Ibrahim. Just give me a second, guys. Sorry, I don't have the time to write things down. So you have to bear with me until I get a verse out. If you don't have the time now, watch me later. Let's go to 14:24. ألم ترى كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. Okay, ضرب. It's the word ضرب. Yeah, here in this verse. Do you not see that God has cited the example of the good word as a good tree, whose root is firmly fixed, and its branches are high in the sky? So, in this verse, they translated it as it's not a physical thing. Okay? This is not, even if it didn't translated it, it's not physical. Do you not see that God has cited the example? It's the word dharaba, they translated it as cited. Okay? So it's not physical. Okay. Let's go to number 24. Or shall I not? Okay. And then the verse 25, yeah? 14:25. تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس لعلهم يتذكرون. It produces its crop every season as designed by its Lord. God thus cites the examples for the people that they may take heed. So again, you translated that word as sights. We finish it. We go to 26. So it makes sense. ومثل كلمة خبيثة كشجرة خبيثة اجتثت من فوق الأرض ما لها من قرار. And the example of the bad word is that of a bad tree, chopped at the soil level. It has no roots to keep it standing. So God here is giving us an example. He hit us. He gave us with an example. Yeah? He's trying to isolate or separate the good tree from a bad tree. Yeah? That's what the example done. Yeah? That's what the example done to us. We separated the good tree or from a bad tree. What the good tree gives you, what the bad tree gives you. But we move on. But remember, they translated that word as sighted, as non-physical. Okay. Now, we go to 2:272, chapter 2, 273. للفقراء الذين أحصروا في سبيل الله لا يستطيعون ضربا في الأرض يحسبهم الجاهل أغنياء من التعفف تعرفهم بسيماهم لا يسألون الناس إلحافا وما تنفقوا من خير فإن الله به خبير. Charity should go to the poor who are suffering in the cause of God and cannot immigrate. Now, ضرب في الأرض, they translated it, they cannot immigrate. So it's nothing physical. Yeah? The unwave may think that they are rich due to their dignity, but you can recognize them by certain signs. They never beg from the people persistently. Okay. Whatever charity you give, God is fully aware. Therefore, so ضربا في الأرض, they said is to immigrate. Still, they translated that word as non-physical. Yeah? Okay. Now, we go Nisa 101. So 4:101. وإذا ضربتم في الأرض فليس عليكم جناح أن تقصروا من الصلاة إن خفتم أن يفتنكم الذين كفروا إن الكافرين كانوا لكم عدوا مبينا. When you travel during war, you commit no error. Now, when you travel, they translated it as immigrate, and here they translated it as travel. The word ضرب في الأرض, ضربتم في الأرض, it's travel. So, the translation keep changing. During war, when you travel during war, you commit no error by shortening your salat, contact prayer. That's what they said. If you fear that the disbelievers might attack you, surely the disbelievers are your ardent enemies. See how the Quran is, all the verses are translated. How many times did I speak about that verse? About a different subject. I mean, and I come back to it to explain another word, and it's all related. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's amazing how this book works. Absolutely. So now, the saying that in darabtum fil ard means travel. And here, darabtum fil ard, something happens here. When you leave your home, you actually detaching yourself from your home. So, or separating yourself from your home and you're going somewhere else. Yeah? Okay? That's what it means, isn't it? When someone travels, he actually separating himself from his home and going somewhere else. Remember the example God gave, yeah? He separated a good tree from a bad tree. That's how the example taught us, yeah? Okay. Now, we go to another verse. I'm not going to use all verses, but you can go and check, because I believe the truth doesn't come to you, you go to it. So I can just give you a few verses and you can go and search for that verse, if it means physical at all, yeah, or not. Now we go to Nisa 4, 140. No. Sorry. We go to Nisa 34. We go back, now we go to Taha. Sorry, Taha. Taha, which is 20:77. وَلَقَدْ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ أَسْرِ بِعِبَادِي فَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ طَرِيقًا فِي الْبَحْرِ يَبَسًا لَا تَخَافُ دَرْكًا وَلَا تَخْشَى. Let's see how they explain this one. We inspired Moses, lead my servants out and strike for them a dry road across the sea. You shall not fear that you may get caught, nor should you worry. Now, they translated the word فَضْرِب as strike for them a dry road. So still not physical. Still not physical. They didn't translate it as beat the road. Do you know what I mean? With his stick, you know. And there's another verse about him beating a rock with his stick. That's not literally beating the rock with a stick for the water to come out. If you beat the rock with a stick, the stick breaks. That's what happens. You don't actually crack the stone for water to come out the stone. Water does not come out stone. Does not. No, they're just one rock. So what Moses done exactly the same as what he's done in the sea. Separated the rock from a rock for water to come out. With his stick. The stick is not using it physically. He wasn't using it physically. Not beating he didn't beat the bloody sea with it. He used it. He just had to probably stick it out or something. You know, I don't know. Or touch the object. Literally touch it. But it doesn't have to be physical. It's non-physical. Even if it is, it doesn't mean beat. It does not beat. The word still used as when you're trying to separate something from something else. So if you want to, he separated the sea, yeah, with his stick. How did he do it? Kept beating the stick, kept beating the sea. He didn't. Of course not. He just probably stuck it out and the sea just leveled up. I don't know. I wasn't there. Do you understand? But he wasn't beating the sea with it. 100%. Yeah. So it's always like he had to push a rock. Let's say push the rock with his stick. Let's say it's physical. Let's say it's physical. Yeah. He pushed a rock. He pushed a rock for water to come out. So he separated that rock from somewhere else, from another rock. I don't know. Probably that rock was in the middle. He was stopping water from coming out. So all he has to do is push it, or commanded it. I don't know. We don't know how big it is. Probably it was massive, right? So he couldn't have done it physically. Do you know what I mean? Because what he's done to the sea, couldn't be physical, could it? He wasn't going to split the bloody sea with his stick, is he? Can't do it. Doesn't happen. This is all God doing it, yeah, not him. Moses didn't have no miracles. He couldn't do anything. He's a human being. So these miracles, these physical miracles, yeah, all by God. Right? He was just there to perform something. I don't know what he was performing. I don't know how he's done it. Does anyone know what he's done with the stick? No one. But still means to separate something from something. Always. Yeah? Now let's go back to the verse. Let's go back to the verse. 34. Now, before we go to that verse, let's go to Rome. Rome, yeah? Rome, because that will give us ideas as well, yeah? Give us ideas, what the Quran says, right? Rome. Come on, the battery is about to die. Rome. All right, 30, 21. Look what the Quran says. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Among his proofs, yeah, is that he created for your spouses. Well, this is these spouses and not spouses. Nafs is a soul, yeah, soul. Not soul, the soul, yeah. But this translates it as wives. Let's take it literally as wives and husbands, yeah. It's just, this is how they mix everything up. How can you have a verse like this and then have another verse asking you to beat your wife and you get it and you actually understood it that way? After listening to this, right, how can you think about God allows you to beat your wife? But let's just listen to it. Among his proofs is that he created for your spouses from among yourselves in order to have tranquility and happiness with each other. And he placed in your hearts love and care towards your spouses. In this, there are sufficient proof for people who think. That's what God tells you about your spouses. But it's not about spouses. But he created a soul. From his proofs, he created a soul. Didn't say spouses or husbands or anything like that. God is talking about souls here. It's not really saying male or female. Do you understand? It's not saying male or female, but they translated it that way. So this happiness, tranquility, love and care, that's what he's telling you to treat, how we should treat each other, right? But if you're reading this and then you go back to Nisa 34 and you translated that word as beating your wife, it just the word, actually the text would not make sense. It would not make sense. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل. Let's read it in English because I already read it in Arabic. And think about it. This is not male and female. Yeah? Think about it. Yeah? Because God just doesn't just talk to males what they can do to females. It doesn't work like that. Sex doesn't exist to God. God does not care about sex. The Quran says it all. Does not care about sex. He cares about souls, yeah? And he's talking about souls here. He's talking about men and women as he describes them. The difference between them is qualities and money. You understand that? If you have enough qualities and money, right, you can be a man. You are a man when you have responsibilities, right? You have dependents. That's what a man is in the Quran. Whether you're a male or female. Okay? Got it, yeah? Let's go back and read the text now and find out. After the verse I just read, love, tranquility, right, everything, yeah? What we should treat each other. The men are made responsible for the women, and God has endowed them with certain qualities and made them the bread earners. The righteous women will cheerfully accept this arrangement, since it is God's commandment, and honor their husbands during their absence. No, that's not it. Don't tell the secrets of their husbands. Not honor their husband when they're not with. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you experience rebellion from the women, right, you shall first talk to them. He's telling you, talk to them. What's going on? if you see like they're not normal, they're not acting normal, all right? They're not doing their responsibilities. Like they're receiving but they're not giving, right? Anything like that. And this is either male or female. Say it again. So talk to them. Or you can, after that, if that doesn't work, you desert them in bed. So you don't sleep with them in the same bed. So you leave your room and you're going to spend the night wherever you want. The lounge, the toilet, whatever. If your toilet is it's nice enough. And then beat them. It's just, okay, beat them. So you talk to them, and then you leave your bedroom, and then if they're not listening, beat them. Okay. If they obey you after you beaten them, okay? Remember love, tranquility, all that, yeah? So, they're telling us, this verse, telling us that some females, that's what they think, females, respond to violence. That's what they're trying to tell us, yeah? Because he said, beat them, but if they obey you, you are not permitted to transgress against them. So you just transgressed against them. Beating someone is transgressing, right? The Quran does not say beating or slapping, or everything is transgression, al-dhulm. Yeah? Everything. Every bad thing is transgression. It's not beating, it's not slapping, it's nothing like that. You don't find that in the Quran. So these women, you have to beat them, and then if they obey, the ones that obey, well, they love being beaten up, yeah? So you can't transgress against them. Or against, again. So stop beating them up, basically. That's what he's saying, yeah? God is most high, supreme. And then we go after that, because they don't read this. And then after that, the ones that you beating the shit out of and they're not listening, if a couple fears separation, you should appoint an arbitrator from his family and an arbitrator from her family. If this is decide to reconcile, God will help them get together. God is omniscient, cognizant. So, let's say I have a daughter, yeah? I have a daughter. So you're going to beat her up, right? You're going to beat my daughter up. Like I spent all my years raising her and looking after her, loving her. So you beat her up, and then you want me to come and solve your problems. Is that really what you guys saying? Truly. Is that the verse does make no sense here? Absolutely no sense. Absolutely does not make sense. You beat someone up. You beat my daughter, and you want me to solve your problem. I'll beat the crap out of you. I'll literally physically abuse you. What kind of thinking is that? What kind of, after the verse I just read, right? Happiness, tranquility, love, and then you think that word means beating. What can it simply mean? Look. Let's go read it. Let's go read it again. It's tiring, honestly. Well, let's find it again. So let's start it from, if you experience rebellion from the women, you should first talk to them. Then you may not, they added things to it as well to convince you this is beating up. You should first talk to them. And then desert them in bed. Okay? So talk to them and then desert them in bed. فَضْرِبُوهُنَّ here can only mean separate them. Separate yourselves from them. Ignore them. Don't talk to them again. Or leave. As you, the man, you the capable person, you have the money, right? And you have the quality. You don't want to stay in a place it got too much for you. She might start getting abusive. So what you do, you pick your shit and leave. Then your family know that you guys not talking. You either not talking, or they noticed you actually left. So now your family get involved. Now you can call me to solve your problems. Now the family got wrong. So these people that you probably ignored, some of them, if you ignored or you left, some of these women, they will call you. They will obey you after that. Not obey you as the slaves, but they start acting normal because they miss you, because they don't want to lose you. Some of these women come back, but the ones that don't come back, right, the family have to get involved. Now I can get involved. I'm going to go and talk to my daughter. Right? Now I can go to my daughter because I know you're a good person. So I can go and talk to my daughter and tell her to stop being stupid. Or, what's wrong with you? She can explain herself to me. Not after you beat her up and then I come and solve your problem. And women, some women like to be beaten up. So they obey you after you beating them up. It's literally saying, فَضْرِبُهُنَّ, like ضَرَبَ فِي الْأَرْض, immigrated. فَضْرِبُهُنَّ, beat them up as a physical thing. This word in the Quran has no physical meaning. None, no physical meaning. So you want to go to the translation, it's all messed up. And you go to an Arab thinking person, Arabic language, the word daraba can be physical. And most of it, go to the Arabic language, 99% is not physical. Does not, except daraba once, right? It hit you with an earth. It hit you with earth. And the meaning of it is, it just knocks you down. Do you know what I mean? Even when you hit someone to knock them down, it's not said that way. So this lot going into national radios and saying this is Islam allows wife beating, when the word has no physical meaning, literally none. What do you say about that? Who's an academic? Who's smart? Who knows what he's talking about? I'm not saying I am. Who sounds so confident that they have the truth? Who? Definitely not me. Definitely not me. I don't claim that. And I don't preach it. And I'm not here to preach. I'm here to just give you my opinion. And I'm not asking anyone to follow me either. But come on, man. Come on. Creator who created you. Can you actually live among each other? Live inside each other. Iskunu. You know what I mean? It's like that. The way he said it, right? It's love, tranquility, peace, everything. And then he asks you to beat your wife. And I told you, if you stop beating her up, all right, if she listened to you after you beat the shit out of her, all right, she can obey you after beating the shit out of her, like some human being, listen to violence. Some women, females, love violence, love to be beaten up. I don't care if you know a woman like that. I don't care if you think that it's not in general. You can't tell me a few people because I don't know, they were abused. I don't know what you're going to tell me. I don't know, but women as females are weak, right? Yeah, they can piss the shit out of you sometimes, yeah, but it doesn't give you the right to beat them up. Especially if you claim you're a Muslim. So simply the word al-fadribuhun, just like leaving your home when you immigrate, right? Zarb fil ard. You leave your home, you separate yourself from your home, you go somewhere else. Exactly what it is. It could be you leave if the situation gets bad, or just ignore them. Just keep ignoring them until they come to their senses, innit? And if they don't listen, family gets involved. See what's going on. That's all it is, man. No beating up. How can you think the Creator asked you to... So He created something for you to beat it up. I mean, how can you even think that about God? How can you think like that about God? You know what I mean? How can you even think that? وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدَرِهِ. You really don't respect God. You don't know the respect. You don't know what God is. You really don't. That's why you can never understand the Quran. Because you have negative towards God. You have God beat up a person. It's just not. It just doesn't make sense, mate. Honestly, how? But how, man? How many people in the world know that Islam allows people to beat females? Everyone knows that. How many people knows about Islam? You are allowed to marry 4 women for no reason. How many people know that? I mean, I was asked that question 200 million times. I mean, when I meet people, I say, "Oh, you're Muslim." I used to say like this, "I'm a Muslim." Yeah, you're a Muslim. Yes, I am a Muslim. It's like, is that true? That you have